Just now I have switched on. I think if 10 minutes gone. 10 minutes gone for my YouTube recording. 10 minutes gone. Anyway, in Facebook it is there right from beginning. I'll ask Rama to hold download and then do it, because already 15 minutes gone. I couldn't record. Anyway, so Prakruta, avidya is another name for adhyasa, and adhyasa itself is called as avidya. This, by stating so clearly, Bhashyakara implies that adhyasa and avidya are synonym. See how Swamiji says, avidyakyam adhyasam iti vishimshata. When he is stating adhyasa called as avidya, he is implying one thing. Prakrutat adhyasat anya kachit tanmula bhuta vidyastiti. That means those who say that there is avidya, something other than adhyasa, a causal avidya. Avidya is a cause of adhyasa called mula vidya. Those who present like that have been dismissed. Vighatita. They have been dismissed by Bhashyakara's own statement. Avidyakyam adhyasam. I don't know how they miss it, in spite of saying it so clearly. Avidyakyam adhyasam. Now what they say is avidyakyam adhyasam. Adhyasa, which is called as avidya. They say avidya is twofold. You see, Poshankarites say one is a causal avidya in the effective avidya, product avidya. Another is causal avidya, another is product avidya. He says presupposing product avidya, vyavahara continues. So he is not, when Bhashyakara says avidya here, avidya is adhyasa is avidya, he only means the product avidya as a product adhyasa as avidya, or he means adhyasa is only product avidya. See, this is their interpretation. They are imposing. Okay, but Bhashyakara says clearly avidyakyam adhyasam. So those who believe, those who try to explain that avidya is something different from adhyasa, they say, Poshankarites, avidya is different from adhyasa and it is a cause of adhyasa. They people are dismissed here, rejected here by Bhashyakara's own statement. Okay, yathokta adhyasam paraskritya. Now proceed. Let us proceed. So presupposing or keeping in view adhyasa, presupposing adhyasa alone, sarve vyavaharaha pravruttaha. The entire vyavahara comes into practice. Okay, comes into being. Atakete vyavaharaha. Entire vyavahara, when you say, what is that? What are all the vyavaharas? Is talking of three. Two, and the one is divided into two and one is common. Laukikaha, Vaidikaha. Pramana prameya vyavaharaha. Laukikaha Vaidikascha. Pramana prameya vyavahara, which is Laukika as well as Vaidika. Laukika pramana prameya vyavahara, Vaidika pramana vyavahara. Vaidikadalli, within Vaivika there are again two, Karmakanda Vaidika and Jnanakanda Vaidika. That we will discuss later. Here one point, pramana prameya vyavahara. Bhashyakara is talking only pramana prameya vyavahara. Generally Bhashyakara says pramana prameya vyavahara. Taking this, Poshankarites always talk of pramana prameya. They don't touch the pramata. This is the one which has really gave rise to misunderstanding. I suffered in the misunderstanding for years together. They are not touching pramata. They take pramata as if is Brahman. Pramatrutvam is also adhyasa. This point they don't say clearly. They don't say clearly. They only say pramata, pramanam, pramaya, pramana, prameya is mithya, pramana, prameya is mithya. Pramatrutvam is also mithya, equally mithya. Pramatrutvam is also within adhyasa. Pramatrutvam is also within avastha. This point they don't make sufficiently clear. Because you see Bhashyakara at another point says, Pramatrutvam hi nivartayati antyam pramanam. At another place he says very clearly, Shastra Pramana, that is Brahma Jnana, Shruti Pramana, which produces Jnanam, removes the very Pramatrutvam. Vedya Veditru Vedanadi Bhedam Apanayati. Veditru, he says there. One place he says Veditru. Another place he says Pramatrutvam hi nivartayati. Ha. Pramatrutvam hi nivartayati antyam pramanam. I think this is Gita Bhashya. Anashino prameyasya tasmat yadhyasva bharata. I am taking the Gita. Evam vetti hantaram yaschainam manyate hatam nasato vidyate bhava. After this comes avinashit tadviddi antavanta ime apnashino aprameyasya. Here you see Antyam hi pramanam. Where did he say that? Shastram tu antyam pramanam. Atadharma adhyaropana nivartakatvena pramanam. Atmanah pratipadyate natu ajñātārtha jñāpakatvena. Pramatrutvam hi nivartayati. Where did he say? I think I left my book somewhere else. Okay, we search here only. In my book I would have got it instantly. But anyway, Pramatrutvam hi nivartayati. Antyam pramanam. I think second. Antyam pramanam. Second chapter only. I'll tell you. It comes here. Yanisha sarva bhutanam. This is the point. I think it is a 69th shloka. What is that? Yanisha sarva bhutanam, same. On that shloka, towards the end, he says, Nahi atmaswarupadigame sati ಪುನಃಪ್ರಮಾಣ ಪ್ರಮೇಯ ವ್ಯವಹಾರ ಸಂಭವತಿ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರಮಾಣ ಪ್ರಮೇಯ ವ್ಯವಹಾರ ಡಸಂಟ್ ಎಕ್ಸಿಸ್ಟ್. ಸೊ he is not talking pramatrutva. Does pramatrutva remain? This is what my misunderstanding was in those days. Oh, pramana prameya goes away, pramatrutva remains. That is clearly telling pramatrutvam hi atmano nivartayati. That means pramatrutvam is also vyavahara. Though in this Adhyasa Bhashya, even here, it doesn't say, he only, Ayyo Rama. ಏನು ಮಾಡೋದು? Okay. There was some disconnection. I didn't speak, now I am again continue it. Okay. Pramatrutvam hi atmano nivartayati. So when he says pramana prameya vyavahara alone is nasambhavati, what about pramatrutvam? Pramatrutvam is also adhyasa. That we have to see that. Pramatrutvam hi atmano nivartayati antyam pramanam nivartayade cha apramani bhavati swapna kala pramanaiva prabodhe. How beautiful statement it is. Pramatrutvam is also adhyasa. Pramatrutvam is also vyavahara. Pramatrutvam is not real. This is what you note it. Pramatrutvam is also adhyasa. So, but here in Adhyasa Bhashya, Pramana Prameya Vyavaharaha, when you say Pramana Prameya, what about Pramatrutva? Not only Pramatrutva, you have to say one more thing, even Kartrutva, Bhoktrutva also. See what Bhashyakara says, this you have to see the entire implication of it. Not only Pramana Prameya, when he says Pramana Prameya Vyavahara, it implies Pramata, Pramana, Prameya, all these three Vyavahara. Pramatrutvam is also Vyavahara. Pramatrutvam is also Vyavahara. Then, when he says Pramatru, Pramana, Prameya, all the three, Triputi, this is due to Adhyasa. What about Kartru, Bhoktru? Even that is also within Adhyasa. Kartru, Karma, Kriya. Kartru, Karma, Kriya. Even these three, Karta, Karma, Kriya, even that is within Adhyasa. Bhoktru, Bhogya, Bhoga. Even that is within Adhyasa. That means entire Vyavahara is within Adhyasa. That means Atma is free from all this. Adhyasa means what? Atma by itself is free from Pramatru, Pramana, Prameya, Kartru, Karma, Kriya, then Bhoktru, Bhogya, Bhoga. When we say these three Triputi is Adhyasta, it implies that Atma doesn't have it. Atma has none of this. Atma is not even Pramatru, not even Kartru, not even Bhoktru. Atma is pure Chaitanyam, pure Ananda Swarupam without being Pramatru, Kartru, Bhoktru. That's what is implied. So, Pramana Prameya Vyavahara, coming to the Bhashya Vakya, Pramana Prameya Vyavaharaha Laukikaha Vaidikascha iti. Now, Swamiji is explaining word by word. Let us see. Yasya prepsa jihasa prayuktasya pravrittis sapramata. Now he is explaining what is Pramata, what is Pramanam, what is Prameyam. Okay. Pramata, Pramanam, Prameyam and Pramiti. All the four. Pramata, Pramanam, Prameyam, Pramiti. So technical terms of philosophy. What is Pramata? Yasya prepsa jihasa prayuktasya pravrittihi. One who has got a pravritti. Pravritti means a function, an inclination. An inclination to know. I desire to know. This desire to know, prepsa jihasa, prayuktasya. So, why does one want to know? This is also interesting. Knowing is a process, Vyavahara. But why there is a pravritti? Pravritti means an intention, an interest, a will on our part to know. Why there is a desire to know, a wish to know. Pravritti, a wish to know. Because by knowing something, why do we need knowledge in the world? One is three reasons I can tell you. The very knowing itself, when you know something, the very knowing gives you some pleasure, some joy. Therefore, we try to know. That means the very knowing is a bhoga. The very knowledge is a bhoga, one thing. Second thing is, when you know something, with the help of the knowledge, you can do karma. Because the knowledge helps you to do some karma. Achieve something. Because you learn and then practice it, as the modern people call it. So the knowledge is useful in karma. It facilitates performing karma. Therefore, knowledge is here, directly not helpful, directly is not enjoyable. First was, very knowledge is a joy. Second is, knowledge helps you to perform a function. Third is, knowledge helps you to enjoy things. So when you know that this gives me happiness, then you go for it again. So knowledge A desire to know is inspired by desire to do and desire to enjoy. Two things. So prepsa jihasa. I want to achieve something and I want to avoid something. This one is causing trouble to me, let me avoid. This one gives me happiness, so let me follow it. So these prepsa jihasa. Prepsa means desire to acquire. Jihasa means a desire to drop off. Okay. So this being prepsa jihasa, being driven by prepsa jihasa, desire to acquire and desire to get rid of, there is a pravrutti, there is a inclination on our part to know. That is pramata. So yenartham because see, even the pramatrutvam is motivated. See, I think in these things, if you watch subtly, there is a knowing, two types of knowing. One is a natural awareness, another is intentional awareness. Intentional, motivated awareness. Awareness means you want to know. An intentional, so the pravrutti, he used the word Swamiji, an intention to know, a desire to know, a motive to know. Okay? An intention, a motive to know. An intention to know, a motive to know is one. Who has this intention to know and motive to know? This is a very good explanation of pramatrutvam. See, who is pramata? Because we have studied Tarka Shastra, they explain slightly differently, but Swamiji's explanation is beautiful here. Who is pramata? Pramata, we are explaining nature of pramatrutvam from the standpoint of Atma. From the standpoint means in contrast with Sakshi. Other schools of philosophy like Vaisheshika, Nyaya, they explain pramatrutvam. Pramata is the one who uses pramana. Who uses pramana and knows the prameya. That's all they explain. I taught this Tarka Shastra. They say pramata is the one who uses pramana and tries to know who uses pramana and knows the prameya. That's not enough. That is okay for Laukika Shastra. But that is a Laukika Pramana, Laukika Pramatru. But here we are talking about the entire Pramatru, Adhyasa Pramatru. That's why Swamiji explains, Pramata is the Pramatrutvam, there is awareness. Sakshi also there is awareness. Then he is explaining Pramatrutvam in contrast with Sakshi. That is important because this is in Adhyasa context, in Vedanta context, this explanation of Pramatrutvam in contrast with Sakshi is important. Not the other one where he uses Pramana, therefore Pramatrutvam, that is okay, that everybody knows. By knowing that you won't get anything new. There is no new awareness, a new discovery, a new insight in it. Pramata uses Pramana and knows it. In this explanation, you are taking Pramatrutvam for granted and explaining. You are taking Pramatrutvam for granted, and Pramatrutvam is already there in you, already known, already is in your Anubhava. You are only just repeating it. You don't get any extra understanding. But here Swamiji's explanation, Pramatrutvam in contrast with Sakshi. Then you know exactly what is Pramatrutvam. Sakshi also is consciousness. Pramatrutvam is also consciousness. See the difference. Sakshi is consciousness. Pramatrutvam is consciousness. If both are consciousness, then what is the difference? That's important. Sakshi is consciousness. Pramatrutvam is consciousness. Then are there two consciousness or one? No, there is only one consciousness. Then you mean Sakshi alone is Pramatrutvam? No, Sakshi is not Pramatrutvam. You say Sakshi is consciousness, Pramatrutvam is consciousness, then they are not two. No, they are not. They are not one. Sorry, they are not one. Pramatrutvam is slightly different. How? That means consciousness is there common to both. Pramatrutvam is Sakshi, Pramatrutvam is consciousness, Sakshi is consciousness. But in Pramatrutvam, there is a little difference. What is it? Sakshi is effortless consciousness. One. Sakshi is effortless consciousness. Pramatrutvam is there is an effort. Sakshi, effort means relation. Effort means relativeness, not exactly effort, because it is not karma. Pramatrutvam is not karta. Therefore, let us not say effort, because effort is involved in kartrutvam. Pramatrutvam, there is no effort. So let us say, instead of effort, let us say relativeness, relationship. Pramatrutvam is related to prameya. This suits well. Sakshi is awareness unrelated to other. In fact, the word Sakshi is also relative, but we are using Sakshi as absolute. Okay? Because Sakshi itself is a prakriya. There is no such thing called Sakshi. Calling Chaitanyam as Sakshi is a prakriya. Anyway, if we go into that, it will be more technical. We will tell some other later. But I can only say this much. We use the word Sakshi. In fact, Sakshi, the word Sakshi is a relative name for consciousness. The consciousness itself is non-dual, it is not related. But the word Sakshi, the name Sakshi is a relative name. Relative name to the non-dual consciousness. So from the standpoint of Pramatrutvam, in order to drop Pramatrutvam, you call it Sakshi. Okay. But when you go to Sakshi, is no more a Sakshi. Therefore, the same Advitiya Chaitanyam is called Sakshi in contrast with Pramatrutvam. In contrast with Pramatrutvam is called Sakshi. Okay. Therefore, Sakshitvam is a relative name, but Sakshi by himself is not Sakshi. Okay. Sakshi, the name Sakshi is a relative name in contrast with Pramatrutvam, but the Sakshi by himself is non-dual consciousness. Anyway, this is a technical, I think I leave it at this, it will come later, but here we don't go into detail, this much is enough. because the word Sakshitvam, Vyakhyanakaras use it, and then some people, it is used in Naishkarma Siddhi also, so taking that they get confused. Sakshi, Upanishad says clearly Sakshi is Advitiyam. Sakshi Cheta Kevalo Nirgunascha. Kevala means Advitiya. Nirguna is purely consciousness, qualityless. And Kevala is Advitiya. Sakshi Cheta Kevalo Nirgunasya. Sakshi is a pure consciousness, non-dual, and there is nothing other than it. It is Upanishad, Shvetastara Upanishad itself is telling Sakshi is non-dual. Even Bhashyakara also uses the word Sakshi in the sense of non-duality. Tat Sakshitvena Pratyuktatvat, he says. In Sutra Bhashya, he uses the word Sakshi in the sense of Advaita. Those who study Naishkarma Siddhi and come, they get confused. Because there Sureshwara, I think, should I tell all these details unnecessary? Anyway, I have touched it, I will tell these few sentences and leave it. Sureshwaracharya is using Sakshi in a more relative sense. Sakshi, because it is all Adhyaropa. Ultimately, how you do Adhyaropa, any word is used in contrast with something. So what are you contrasting? A particular name is used in contrast with something. Now what are you contrasting? If you contrast only Pramatrutvam, then you can say a Sakshi is a relative name. Okay. But when you say Sakshitvam, Sakshitvam is Atma himself, then you are negating everything and Sakshi is only Brahman. Okay. So it depends upon how you use the term. In Sureshwaracharya, in Naishkarma Siddhi, uses the Sakshi word as a relatively. Okay. But Upanishad and Shankara Bhashya, in all other places, In all other places, Shankaracharya uses Sakshi is directly Advaita Brahman alone, non-dual Brahman alone. But Sureshwara says Sakshi is a step little different from the non-dual consciousness. He uses still in relationship with the world. So it depends upon how you use the word. Though it is a Sureshwaracharya's special usage, there we leave it. So Naishkarma Siddhi is not a standard for all the bhashya, is not a general standard for understanding all the bhashyas, even Upanishad. Shvetashtra Upanishad, when it calls Sakshi, it means Sakshi Cheta Kevalo Nirgunascha. Okay? So don't get confused. When I say Sakshi, I generally use only in that Naishkarma Siddhi special case alone, we use it that way. Otherwise, Sakshi means directly Advitiyam Brahman alone. Okay? So here, Sakshi is consciousness. So the consciousness of Sakshi, consciousness of Sakshi, you can't use it. Sakshi is consciousness, consciousness is Sakshi. So Sakshi of consciousness is non-relational. Okay? Non-relational consciousness is Sakshi. That means non-dual. Non-relational is non-dual. But whereas Pramatrutvam is relative consciousness. Okay? Pramatrutvam is relative consciousness. Sakshi is also consciousness. It is non-relational. One point. Second point is here. Swamiji is particularly touching. A consciousness in which there is an inclination to know. There is an intention to know. There is a motive to know. A consciousness combined with, associated with an intention to know, a motive to know, it becomes a pramata. See the difference. In Pramatrutvam, consciousness is there, but there is an intention to know is imposed there, adhyasa. An intention to know, a motive to know is imposed. Okay. A motive to know, an intention to know is also associated with consciousness. Then it becomes pramata. That means Pramatrutvam requires antakarana dhyasa. Antakarana alone can have a desire, an intention to know, a motive to know, an interest to know. Okay. An intention to know, an interest to know. So an interest to know, that interest is a mind, vritti. But consciousness itself has no interest to know because it is already know. It is already consciousness. Consciousness is already consciousness. Therefore, it doesn't, two points just now I told you. One is the relativeness is not there in Sakshi. Therefore, it is Sakshi is non-dual. Second is Sakshi doesn't have an intention to know because is already awareness. Where is the need to intention? There is no intent. Whereas Pramatrutvam is related to Prameya. Pramatru is also knowledge. Pramatru is also consciousness. But this consciousness is related to Prameya. One. Second thing is Pramatrutvam has a desire to know, has an inclination to know, has an intention to know because he wants something to know. Okay. So in Pramatrutvam there is an inclination to know. In Sakshi, a knowledge without inclination, means a consciousness without any desire to know, without any motive to know. There is no intention. There is already awareness. That is Sakshi. Here you want to know, and Pramatru comes to know. After knowing also, that inclination, that desire continues. Before knowing, he wants to know. After knowing it, he wants to use it. He wants to use it, either he wants to retain it or he wants to get rid of it. So a motive is also associated with consciousness. So when a motive imposed on consciousness, it becomes pramata. Another thing, still I can tell you differences. There are more differences. Should I discuss it, becomes a elaborate topic. But anyway, I touched it, so let me say. And we have to know also. Anyway, someday we have to know. Sakshi knows the entire world in one stroke. Sakshi's knowledge is not a sequential knowledge. Pramatru knows sequentially. Pramatru knows within time, within place, small object, piece by piece. Pramatru knows piece by piece. Sakshi knows in one stroke, there is no sequence in knowing. This is the third difference. Another difference. Sakshi knows that Pramatru knows the things located within time and place. Pramatru knows the things located in time and place. Okay. Whereas Sakshi knows because it is his very nature of knowing. That's all. It is his very nature to be conscious, to be aware of. That's all. Now there is no already we told the object of knowing is not involved in Sakshi. Sakshi Sakshi's awareness is not relative, because Sakshi knows both. See, one thing you see, Sakshi requires object and absence of object. Okay, object and absence of object, both together alone is Sakshi. If he knows one of them or one by one, is not Sakshi. Note it. If Sakshi knows an object, see, knows the pencil and absence of pencil, knows the waking world and absence of the waking world. One who knows the world, entire world in one stroke, one who knows the entire waking state or the waking world in one stroke, and also by the same stroke he knows the absence of the world and absence of the world, avastha and absence of avastha, both together he knows in one stroke. That is Sakshi. Okay. When he knows both together, both means Vyakta, Avyakta, waking and deep sleep. Vyakta and Avyakta, when he knows both together, then I tell you he is no more Sakshi, he is only Advitiyam alone. He is Advitiyam. That means that Sakshitvam is not relative, he is Advaitam. So, Sakshi knows the entire world as well as the absence of it in one stroke. He doesn't know in sequence, first waking world and then deep sleep, first the world and then absence of the world. There is no sequential knowing of world and then absence of the world. You may wonder, in waking state there is a world, in deep sleep there is no world. How can somebody know the world and absence of world two together in one stroke? Waking world and absence of the waking world in deep sleep. So the waking excludes deep sleep. Deep sleep is different from waking state. How can you know these two simultaneously? How can you know the waking and deep sleep two simultaneously in one stroke? Sakshi knows. That's why when you know these two together, there is no world, there is no avyakta. Vyakta, avyakta, both of them disappear, because when you see them together is in one, there is nothing other than you. Sakshi becomes a non-dual alone. Okay. Sakshi has to know both world as well as the absence of the world, the entire waking state and absence of the state. Then only he Therefore, in Sakshi there is no relativeness, there is no relativeness, there is no smallness. That means he doesn't know piece by piece sequentially. Pramatru knows piece by piece sequentially. Okay. Pramatru knows piece by piece sequentially. Sakshi knows the entire world and absence of the world, that is Vyakta and Avyakta, in one stroke. And Pramatrutvam has an intention to know, because when you want to know, Pramatrutvam has an intention to know. One more thing which we have told, Pramatru's knowledge, Pramatru's consciousness is relative. Sakshi's knowledge is not relative, because Sakshi's consciousness is very nature of consciousness. Pramatru's consciousness is relative. Relative means what? It is always connected to a given thing. Pramatru's knowledge, I am aware of this, a given thing. When you know a given thing, you become Pramatru. Therefore, see, when you know a given thing, there is an intention to know. there is an intention to know come into picture when you know a given thing, a something, a given thing. That means you get connected to given thing. Consciousness gets related to a given thing. You noted the point. Consciousness gets related to a given thing. Why given thing alone? Why not the other? This is where the intention to know, a motive to know comes into picture. A motive to know, an intention to know, Pramatru has. Pramatru has an intention to know, a motive to know, because Pramatru knows a given thing, a particular thing. That means Pramatru is related to a particular Prameya, a Gneya. Therefore, Pramatru is a relative knowledge. He knows a particular thing. He knows piece by piece. He knows in a sequence. And he has got a motive in knowing. All this is Pramatrutva. Sakshi, there is no motive to know, because his knowing is his nature. And he is not related to a second thing, because there is nothing second. Because it is not knowing consciousness. Sakshi is not knowing a given thing. Sakshi is being consciousness. Sakshi is not getting related to what you know. Okay? Sakshi is not knowing something, getting related to something is not Sakshi. Sakshi is being consciousness. See the difference? Sakshi is being consciousness. Pramatrutvam is getting related to an object, getting related to a given thing. Is conscious, related through what? Through knowing. In the form of knowing is getting related. In the form of consciousness is getting related. Why do you want to know a given thing? Because you are interested in a thing. I want to acquire it, I want to get rid of it. Therefore, there is an interest in it. There is an intention in it. Therefore, Pramatrutvam is an interest or an intention. Sakshi doesn't have an intention and interest, because Sakshi's awareness is only being awareness. Being is a Svata Siddham. Being is natural. It is not a motive. Being is natural. It is not a new acquiring. It is not a new relationship you are acquiring. You are not getting into a new relationship. Sakshi's awareness is natural. He is not getting related to something newly. Therefore, Sakshi's awareness is natural. Pramatrutvam is intentional, motivated, related, and it knows a given thing, and sequentially he knows. Totally Sakshi is opposite to this. Okay? So here Swamiji is defining Pramatrutvam in contrast with Sakshi. That is the point. Okay? He is defining Pramatrutvam in contrast with Sakshi. Okay, Pramatrutvam is explained. The next point, already 12 o'clock. Oh, as I touch the topic, this time has runs away. Oh, we thought time doesn't exist, but it restrains. Oh, I am here 12 o'clock. In fact, we started 12:10, 12:15. But I think 45 minutes is okay. Next is Pramanam, Prameyam. We'll discuss Pramanam, Prameyam also. Swamiji is stating briefly, but I am making it a little more elaborately, because these points have to be learnt somewhere. Otherwise, if you just say briefly and leave them, they won't become clear to you, and then somewhere you have to touch it. Why not touch here only? Probably we discussed it in Vedanta Sara, Vishuddha Vedanta Sara, but that was already over. And we discussed them in Kannada. So in English also let us discuss these points. So Pramatrutvam, how Swamiji defined Pramatrutvam in contrast with Sakshi. In Sakshi there is no Adhyasa, because there is no mind connected. But in Pramatrutvam consciousness is connected to mind. Adhyasta is relative. Therefore, Pramatrutvam combined with intention. Intention means what? Interest. Interest means what? Mind alone is an interest. Sakshi doesn't have a mind. Sakshi doesn't have any interest or a desire or anything. So the desire or inclination or interest is a mind. The mind is associated means what? Adhyasta in consciousness. Therefore, the consciousness circumscribed by combined with motive becomes Pramatruttvam. And Pramatru, because of the motive, Pramatru always focus attention on a given thing. One by one he knows, given thing he knows. Okay, this much Pramatrutvam is clear. We will see Pramana, and we will see Prameya, and we will see Pramiti. Okay, all these folds we see. Then all these things are due to Adhyasa. In Sakshi they don't exist. This much is the syllabus. These 4 points, and the fifth is how they are Adhyasta. Pramatru, Pramana, Prameya, Pramiti. These 4. Pramiti means knowledge. Pramatru, Pramana, Prameya, Pramiti, these 4 points. Then how these 4 are due to Adhyasa and Atma is free from this. This is the 5th point. These 5 points we have to explain. First only we have explained. Other 4 are remaining. We will explain in the next class. Okay. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namah. Harihi Om.